ध्यानश्लोका सशङ्खचक्रं सकिरीटकुण्डलं सपीतवस्त्रं सरसीरुहेक्षणं सहारवक्षस्थलशोभिकौस्तुभं नमामि विष्णुं शिरसा चतुर्भुजम्. I prostrate with my head to that Mahavishnu with four hands holding the conch and the discus, adorned with a crown and the ear pendants, wearing golden yellow apparel, eyes shining like a lotus, wearing many beautiful necklaces, and chest with shining Kaustva mark. Vishnu Sahasranama, verse 21. Maricirgamanohamsaha सुपर्णो भुजगोत्तमः हिरण्यनाभः सुतपाः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः मरीचिः दमनहंसः सुपर्णः भुजगोत्तमः हिरण्यनाभः सुतपाः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः. ॐ मरीचये नमः. ॐ दमनाय नमः. ॐ हंसाय नमः. ॐ सुपर्णाय नमः. ॐ भुजगोत्तमाय नमः. ॐ हिरण्यनाभाय नमः. ॐ सुतपसे नमः. ॐ पद्मनाभाय नमः. ॐ प्रजापतये नमः. The first name is Marichi in this particular verse. Marichi means effulgence. This represents supreme consciousness that illumines all objects, all beings, and therefore, in terms of the worldly knowledge, it is declared by the Upanishads as the supreme, the light infinite. Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita declares, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam viddhi partha sanatanam buddhihi buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. Lord Krishna describing his vibhutis. Vibhuti description comes in chapter 10. But in chapter 7 also, some of these vibhutis are described in brief. A few of them are given somewhat like a trailer to the main movie. So one of the four which is listed in this verse is Tejaha Tejasvinam Aham. I am the splendor of the splendid. This splendor is what is referred to as Marichihi. The effulgent and powerful Supreme Being represses, controls, brings them back into the line, the evil-minded, the unrighteous, the Rakshasas, the Asuras. For this, he has to repress them, which is called Damana. Damanaha is the next name. Damanaha, represses of all evil. When you say evil, we normally associate Rakshasas like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Kamsa. These are the persons who personify the evil. But evil is not confined only to them. Every human being, in everybody's bosom, there is some negative tendency. Asuri. This is called Rakshasic impulse. So this evil impulse which is there in all of us, this is the one which is again controlled by controlled by Mahavishnu. We are familiar with the 10 incarnations of Mahavishnu. In most of these incarnations, he has taken birth to control evil, dusta shikshanartham, to punish the evil minded and what he has done. Damana also indicates, that's why we say, Damana indicates controlling of any negative tendency in us. And this control is done by the Supreme in the form of pain and agitation, sorrow and death, which inevitably follow any negative action or any negative thought that may be there in our mind. The Supreme Being, apart from repressing the evil minded, also shows the righteous path as Hamsaha. Actually, this is a word is this Hamsa is a combination of two words, Aham and Saha. We know the famous Vedantic declaration, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahma Asmi, meaning I am Brahman. Now the term I, the first person singular, which is used here, denotes the supreme, the self functioning through all of us, through all the conditionings. The body itself is a condition, which in the body is the supreme is living. He is the Paramatma. He is the consciousness. He is the self which is activating, enlivening the being. The I or the Jiva, denoted as Aham, once it is detached from the conditionings, if I am able to detach myself and break the identity with my body, mind, and intellect, then the small I becomes the big I. It is no longer the ego, small I, but it becomes the supreme consciousness. Because ultimately they are not different. Every individual, every jiva is not different from the Paramatma. Actually, the coming identification of the Jivatma with the Paramatma itself is the supreme knowledge, is the destination for which every seeker is struggling from ages together. Aham Saha. I is He. I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Saha. Aham Saha. If you quickly say this, we get the sound Ham Saha. The Supreme Being gives us Viveka, the sense of discrimination to distinguish between the right and the wrong, dharma and adharma, to do and not to do. But while giving us this benefit of viveka or discrimination, he himself remains unattached. He is not involved in any of the daily routine actions. He is a sakshi. Suparanaha, next name, which beautifully brings out this. Suparna, Suparnaha means one with beautiful wings. That means a beautiful bird, a knowledgeable bird. Parana means wings. Super means one which is having wings, that is a bird. There's a beautiful story in our Puranas, Vedanta. A pair of white winged birds, two, a pair, beautiful birds, extremely friendly, sit on one and the same tree. One is eating the fruits, the other eats not, merely gazes at the second bird with the other bird which is eating. This is a metaphor. They suggest that the Jivatma and the Paramatma are sitting on the same tree. That is, they are residing in the same body. One bird eats the fruits of actions. That is a Jivatma. The other, the Supreme Self, merely gazes on. It is a Sakshi. So, actually, what is happening is the Supreme Being, although being in the body, that's why he's called the Dehi, is unattached. Unattached with the fruits of actions. So, that is why he's called Sakshi. So, this beautiful name, Suparna, has this much hidden meaning in this. Suparna also denotes Garuda, the greatest among the birds. Now, Vishnu, who is silent witness, denotes the principle of consciousness. Coming to the next name, in this name, we are reminded of Supreme as Garuda. The next name reminds us of the Supreme as the best among the serpents. Bhujaga Uttamaha. Bhujagottamaha. Bhujagaha. Bhujaga means one which is crawling or moving on the shoulders. As we know, a serpent does not have any legs. It merely crawls on its shoulders. That is called, it is Bhujaga. Bhujaga Uttamaha. The best among the serpents. Best among the serpents. Immediately, two names come to our mind. One is Vasuki and other is Ananta. Both these names appear in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, when explaining his vibhutis, mentions about identifies himself with both these serpents. In verse 28, he says, Sarpanam Asmi Vasukihi. In verse 29, immediately following portion, he is telling Anantaha cha Asmi Naganam. If you read the entire verse, Ayudhanam aham vajraha धेनूनाम अस्मि कामधु प्रजनश्चास्मि कंदर्पः सर्पाणाम अस्मि वासुकिः. I am Vajra among the weapons. I am the Kamaduk among the cows. I am Kandarpa, the progenitor among serpents. I am Vasuki. The other verse, following verse, starting with Ananta. Anantaschasmi naganam varunah yatasam aham pitrunam aryamaschasmi yamaha samyatamaham. I am Ananta among the Nagas, Varuna among the water beings, Yama among the forefathers, Yama and the controllers. Vasuki and Ananta have tremendous significance. Vasuki is the serpent which can become as small as possible. Actually, Lord Shiva wears Vasuki on his finger as a ring. And same Vasuki was requested and used by the Devas and Danavaras for churning the Mandara mountain in for Ksheera. You can imagine how big it can become, how small it can become. Ananta, as we know, is Ananta is a thousand-headed serpent, which is the bed of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is always shown reclining on Ananta. That's why he's called Ananta Padmanabha Swami. Immediately we are think of Trivandrum, where the most famous temple of Ananta Padma Swami is there in India. Now the next name is Hiranyanabaha. Hiranyanabaha represents the most auspicious. He who supports on his navel, at his navel, the creator, the Brahma himself, the Hiranyagarbha. Another meaning given for this term is one who has a beautiful naval region with a golden hue. Seeing Mahavishnu, perceiving Mahavishnu as the most auspicious being, now we can also understand that he is the one who performs the best austerities, tapaha. So is called Sutapaha. So as Sutapaha, Mahavishnu is the object of worship of all seekers. Sutapaha means excellent austerities or glorious tapas. Actually, what is tapa? Tapa is unity of mind and senses, striving. That is called tapaha. Because the main issue is you cannot control the mind. You cannot control the mind unless you has a complete perfect control over the sense organs. We may momentarily withdraw our mind from the sense organs, but it will not remain there unless the mind is able to concentrate on something else. The best thing is you try to have a consistent ideal, a goal, and that nothing else can be better than Mahavishnu. So once you think of Mahavishnu and then focus on Mahavishnu, do tapa, do meditation, do japa, then you're able to control the mind, bring out the control, unity of the mind and senses. This is true tapaha. So being the object of worship by seekers, thing we need for concentrating on a particular point, we need a focal point. That focal point is Padmanabha. Mahavishnu is the one who supports at his navel the very seat of creation. Entire creative power is there in the. That's why it's called Hiranyanabha. Padmanabha. So these are related names. The term can also mean one who has a navel region which is in its rounded beauty is as charming as a lotus flower. That's why it is compared with lotus. The Nabhi, the navel region of Mahavishnu, is compared with a beautiful lotus flower. And lotus flower represents not physical beauty. No. A lotus flower represents the point of creation. So Mahavishnu's navel supports Brahma and who creates the entire world. And lotus represents the creative power. That is called Padmanabha. So the Padmanabha is the Prajapati. He is the father of all living beings. Because all human beings have emerged from him. In a way, he is like our divine father, Prajapati, Jagat Pita, Pitamaha. A number of names are there. So the term Pati has a direct meaning father. Since he is the father of the entire humanity, entire Praja, he is called Prajapati. Now, Prajapati is source of all beings. We are all born from him. We emerge from him. We live with under his grace. We are mortal. We are subject to death. But the divine Father is immortal. He is not subject to birth and death. He is not subject to the cycle of births and deaths like us. So this takes us to the next name. It is Amrityuhu. And Amrityu appears as the first name in the next verse, which we'll take up in the next session. So let us conclude with one Shanti Mantra. Om Sarvesham Swastir Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May prosperity prevail upon all. May peace prevail upon all. May contentment prevail upon all. May auspiciousness prevail upon all. Peace, peace, peace.